Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in to the Keir podcast. So today we're talking about winter wines. Winter wines are pretty great, and that I mean the alcohol level is pretty great. They've got this full realization of fruit, and the philosophy is, when the weather gets cold, just like you would go on vacation to someplace sunny, that's where you go for your wines. As you probably know already, wines from a warmer climate develop a lot more fruit and a lot more sugar, and that sugar is what becomes alcohol. So I'm going to make a couple of recommendations for some of these rib-sticking winter fireside wines, if you will. Most of these can be found pretty much in any wine shop, any reasonably curated wine shop, nothing fancy, and they're all under $20. So you can factor these in, fit these into your everyday life pretty easily. So the first one I want to talk about is Ghost Pines. Ghost Pines is out of California. They do a Cabernet Sauvignon that, for my money, drinks as well as any $30 Cabernet from California. Very complex. It's made by Louis M. Martini. You might have heard of them. They are known for making wines with their label, their actual name on the label, and Ghost Pines, pretty much the consistent label. They have the Chardonnay, the Merlot. I've had every single one of their wines, and I think they're all great, coming in at under $18 a bottle. They're wonderful. The next one I'd recommend for you in terms of a nice wintry fireside wine, Bogle. Now, I know everyone has seen Bogle something in every wine shop. They're heavily produced, and some people look at them kind of like the yellowtail of America. But I want to talk to you about the Phantom. In Scottish mythology, Bogle means ghost or phantom. So the Bogle Phantom is actually their flagship wine. It's the best wine they produce. It's a blend of Mourvedre, Zinfandel, and Petit Syrah. Zinfandel and Petit Syrah you really don't find anywhere else but America. So this is also a distinctly American wine with a southern Rhone kind of twist to it. Expect this to be really rich, dark, inky black fruit, higher alcohol. This is a good cheeseburger wine, definitely something good for short ribs, and also just a good, snifter wine, if you will. Another wine that I recommend in terms of reds would be the Cuvée Le Bec. Cuvée Le Bec's kind of hard to find. It's made by Beckman Vineyards. It's out of Santa Barbara. It's a blend of Grenache, Counoise, and Mourvedre. This spicy, sweet, cherry-driven, black licorice-having beauty of a wine is not that easy to find, but it's not a rarity. And if you do see Cuvée Le Bec, or actually any of the Beckman Vineyards wines, grab them, because they're all pretty much under $20, and they're all reliably rich and beautiful, and they highlight that sun from California very nicely. Speaking of California, Oberon. Now, I used to work in a steakhouse here in the city. I'm not sure if I can tell you the name of it, so I'll just leave it out. But we used to pour Oberon. In fact, at the time, that was the only place you could find the Oberon Cabernet, was in restaurants. Now it's available in stores, and it's from Stag's Leap, actually. The fruit is mostly from Stag's Leap. It's a Napa Valley wine made by Michael Mondavi, rich, spicy, cassis-driven Cabernet, full-on Cabernet Sauvignon. So I would totally recommend that wine, just to check that wine out if you really want to see what a nice, bargain of a restaurant-style steakhouse wine can be. Next, I've got the Mas de Gorgonnier. Now, this is Southern French. It's Provence. It's nothing to do with California. It's very different. The appellation is Les Bols de Provence. It's a blend of Cabernet, Carignan, Cinsault, and Monastrell. A crazy mixture of Southern French varietals. This wine's got lots of fruit, very juicy. And you can actually have this as a winter cocktail wine, because even though it's rich and fully fruited and got a good amount of alcohol, not too much, it's still, balanced with beautiful acidity. So that's my list of reds for now. Tune in. I'm going to give you my list of whites for winter as well, right after this. Yeah, I've got a couple of winter white recommendations for you as well. The first one I want to talk about would be the Folie à Deux Russian River Chardonnay. This is from the Russian River Valley, which is one of the premier appellations for Chardonnay in California. From Sonoma. Sonoma is famed for its longer, cooler growing season, which will allow the grapes to mature much slower and not be overly fruity or jammy or alcoholic. You do get great realization of fruit, but it just tends to be more balanced. Now, this wine, I love it because it shows all of that Californianess in a glass. It shows the pineapple, the pear, the mango. It shows the salted caramel and the ginger. It shows the nutmeg and the vanilla. All of those really beautiful, indulgent flavors one would hope to find in a California Chardonnay. But it's balanced. It's not the kind of thing that's going to kill your palate. And truthfully, the only problem I have with California Chardonnays under $20 is that they're just not as good as this one. So recommending this to you. If you find it, just go ahead and grab it and, tell me about it. Another winter white that I'm really fond of would be the Muga, barrel fermented Blanco. So this is a white wine from Spain. It's 90% Viura and 10% Malvasia. It's aged in French oak as opposed to American oak, and it's a new oak, so that oak impact is really present. But it's a different kind of wine. The fruit is more citrus and green apple. And the oak, because it's French oak, it's Nevers oak, it kind of comes across as like a faint buttery pastry, vanilla pastry kind of aromatic. That minerality and acidity in this wine still balances it out. So even though it's a richer wine, it maintains its ability to be a formidable cocktail wine. And it's great with bites as well. Definitely look for that wine. I recommend it to you very highly. Next up, Alsace. Now, Alsace is a region in France that's very unique in that it's separated from the rest of France by a mountain range known as the Vosges Mountains. And it's created a microclimate there where they literally grow different grapes from the rest of France, and the wines are distinctly different. Alsace actually used to be a part of Germany, so those wines actually may have more in common with German wines than French wines, but I don't know. We'll talk about that at another time, I guess. What I'd like to talk to you today is about is the Hugel Gentil. So Hugel is the winemaker. Their family's been making wine for about 500-600 years in Alsace. And the Gentil is a blend of the noble grapes of Alsace with a few other grapes thrown in. Their idea, create their house style and perpetuate it by tweaking out the blend every vintage. And it's working beautifully. So this is a blend of Gewürztraminer, Pinot Gris, Riesling, Muscat, Pinot Blanc, and Sauvignon. And the end result is a beautifully round, floral, spicy, complex wine that usually costs under $15 a bottle. You can drink this with pretty much anything you're having, winter fare, that's, pork, chicken, that sort of thing, ham. But also, it's a great cocktail wine, again, by itself, so I would definitely recommend that. One other thing I wanted to talk about, since we're talking about winter wine, would be mulled wines. I think mulled wines are great for two reasons. One, they allow for some creativity. There is a basic recipe you can follow to make mulled wine, but, you can tweak it out as you see fit. Some people like to use brandy. Some people like to use Grand Marnier. Some people don't use any. Basic recipe, apple cider, wine, honey, cinnamon, orange juice and zest, and star anise. That's your basic recipe. I would stress to you to not use great wine. It's okay to use a cheap, jammy, full-bodied red wine for that. You kind of want that fruit and that winey kind of flavor that comes through in the end to cut through all of those aromatics. So feel comfortable buying that jug, that $10 jug of wine to make your mulled wine for the winter. Well, that's it. That's my winter wine podcast. If you have any questions, please feel free to send me an email at info@keircarter.com, and I'll get back to you right away. Thank you very much. I look forward to hearing from you.